Do you love everything CIA, Black Ops, Jason Bourne, all of that stuff? Then you're going to love this new show. Guys, we're checking out Treadstone. Stay tuned.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz.
Oh.
Right? There's a little, a new little beat in there.
Yeah. I was not expecting that.
Yeah. I love it. I love the new thing. Guys, welcome back to Pilot Reviews. So happy you can join us. Pilot Reviews is all about the pilot, and this is a doozy. Treadstone is a doozy. But before we get into it, I'm your girl, Linda Antwi, and to my left we have Mina Spectacular. What's up, Mina?
Thank you. I'm good.
Good. Welcome back. And the lovely, funny Tara.
Hi, guys. Good to be back.
Guys, overall thoughts?
I loved it. I'm down. I mean, I miss Jason Bourne. Whew. And this guy, he's just as good. And the stunts in the show, just as good. And totally lived up to what I wanted it to.
Mina?
I love how there's a million different storylines that are all part of the same picture, and how we're going back and forth between these different stories, and then we're tying it back
Spoiler alert.
I mean,
from the get-go.
Yeah, no, it was good. I liked how it was done.
I loved it. I loved all the action. I loved all the fights. I loved everything about it. Really. I wasn't sure I was going to like it, but I absolutely, I just was all in. I felt like I could be a Black Op. Honestly, that's how I felt. Could I? Maybe I am. So guys, just so you know, this is a pilot review, and we only review the pilot. Perhaps if you guys love it, they'll do an after show here at AfterBuzz TV. Definitely let us know if you want us to do that in the comments. And so we just talk about the one episode. And so let's talk about it.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to talk about it without spoiling anything, but I really loved it. I thought it was so engaging. It was so good. I didn't know where it was headed, but I just felt like everything that was in there, I'm usually not a huge action person.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I'm all about the character and just diving deep into character analysis, and I'm not a fan of just fight scene after fight scene, but the way this was done was so engaging. It wasn't just pointless fighting. There was something that was part of a bigger picture here, and the whole time we were thinking, what's Treadstone, what is this? There's so much mystery around it. Who's good, who's bad?
Well, I think what was great is that they were there's a lot of character development. We're seeing their stories and their backstories, so it's not just the fight scene. And I think that that's what makes it great, is that we see their stories and there's action. What did you think?
I like that there's a lot of badass women in this show that also have fight scenes and do a really good job with it. I like that they do not speed up the film. In a lot of action films, even movies nowadays, they speed up the film to get a bit more of a choppier look, so you think more is happening than probably what they're actually filming. You actually see everything that's happening. He's going to flip a body over. They're not going to speed up the film. You're going to see the whole thing sort of in real time, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And I really, really enjoyed seeing women kick the shite out of a lot of men in this show.
I love it. They were badasses. Let's take a look at some of the characters in this show that are stars in their own right.
So that's Gabriel Schnarnitsky. Sorry, it's Scharnitsky.
Let's do it again.
Gabriel Scharnitsky. I got it. Got it that time.
She plays Petra, and you know her from The Game and Storm of Love. Who do we have next?
Next up is Jeremy Irvine. Yeah.
He plays Jay Randolph Bentley. You know him from Warhorse, from Mamma Mia, from The Railway Man. He's cute.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I'm looking at his picture. I'm oh my gosh.
Hot. Okay, next up is Hee-Ju Han. Apologize, I'm probably not saying it right, but that's her. She's great.
And she plays So Young Pak. You know her from The Beauty, from Cold Eyes, and Dawn G. I loved her character. I loved how she contrasted, her day life contrasted that fighter. I just loved it. She's so little, but she's a badass. Oh, it was great.
Yeah. Next up, we have Tracy Ifichur.
She plays Tara Coleman, so she's that disgraced reporter turned cab driver, and you know her from Doctor Who, from Quantico, the originals as well.
And next up we have Emily Schul.
Emily, she plays young Petra and the KGB agent. You know her from High Society and Berlin Station.
Great. And next up we have Michelle Forbes.
She plays Ellen Becker, you know, from California with the K, True Blood, The Hunger Games, Mockingjay Part 2.
And next we have Omar Metwally.
He plays Matt Edwards. Not sure really what his character is yet in this, but he played a badass too. You know him from The Affair, Mr. Robot, and Munich.
And last but not least, we have Brian J. Smith.
You know him from, he plays Doug McKenna, and you know him from Sense8 and Perot and Stargate Universe.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty strong cast.
Yeah.
Some of them I wasn't familiar with, but they had really solid performances, I thought, in this pilot.
Yeah, I agree. I think everyone did actually a really good job. Sometimes it's hard for me to watch a pilot in a show and not pick out a weak actor and think like maybe they ran out of time so they had to just cast this person. Mm-hmm. But with this pilot specifically, everyone was a really heavy hitter.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to break down the premise a little bit. So Treadstone is an origin story and a present day action kind of CIA black ops program known as Operation Treadstone, and it was a covert program that uses behavior modification protocol to turn recruits into nearly superhuman assassins. The first season is following these sleeper agents across the globe. They're everywhere as they're mysteriously awakened to resume their deadly missions. So that in a nutshell is what we're seeing. Guys, let's do our pass or play.
I'm definitely a play on this one. I think it's so good. If I have enough time, I will definitely watch it because it's something I would want to see, and it's so engaging. Like, I feel like I'm in a movie theater when I'm watching it. I'm just like looking at it, and then sometimes I have to like pause and rewind because I'm like, I just want to see that scene like one more time. Like, because so much is happening that I just like kept rewinding it, replaying it. Like, whoa, that's a crazy action sequence.
What's your play?
Play. That was like a song that they hear in this pilot when they turn on to become like a killing monster.
Oh yeah, that was like so creepy.
So
great.
You
know what? We all know that song, and I'm like, oh, but that was just such a nice childhood song. But you guys are making it something else.
Yeah.
I'm definitely play. I think that it's engaging. I think that USA has found a whole new fan in me, and I think this is going to be a great show. So play for sure. Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about the show itself. So maybe we'll get that spoiler alert going so that we can speak
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
So what did you think of the flashback? So we open the scene to what I didn't know was like the 1970s, because it was kind of like it could be any time. It was just like dark and dreary, and we see this guy kind of getting drugged up in a chair, and we don't know what's going on in the beginning. What did you guys think of that whole opening?
Yeah, everyone's like speaking German. I'm like, it's not the like Holocaust period because it's in the 70s, but when I first saw it before paying attention to the date, I was like, is this like, are they turning this into like some sort of Nazi Germany like Holocaust thing? And then I realized, okay, no, it takes place later. There's like weird experiments going on, and what is the point of these experiments? And when the girl starts singing the Farah Jaka song, I'm like, this is super creepy. And it was like the one time in a fight scene where I'm not rooting for the girl. Like, I just wasn't. I'm like always for female empowerment, and I was like, destroy her. Like, and it's funny because I don't think we usually see a lot of action sequences between, you know, men and women, because like we just don't see a lot of that where there's like a strong female and a strong male and they're like equally physically strong. So there were two of those actually in the show, not just that one.
Yeah.
I specifically love the move, like towards the end when he was trying to escape, right? All this stuff happens, but this is still part of the beginning, where he like hides as the dead body. There's a weird moment in this pilot where you're like, did he really kill himself? And then it takes you a second and you see her walk by the bodies. And you're like, oh, that's why he looked at the dead body. I just found it really exciting because you knew that obviously it was going to continue and he couldn't have killed himself. But there was a fleeting moment in my brain where I was like, that might be him on the sidewalk. Where does this go? Which is dumb, but I don't know. I feel like the show keeps you on your feet.
And then, do we see his character in present day, or do we still only see him in the flashbacks? Because that's the part I couldn't quite wrap my mind around. Because
I was so confused. I kept thinking that the guy in the present day was the same person from the past, and then it took me a second to realize that it wasn't.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
but because we do meet her in present day at the end. So I was like, ooh, have we met him yet?
Maybe he's the guy that gets stabbed.
Spoil it.
I don't know. Maybe he's the guy that she stabs. Maybe they ended up together and I'm just going to get this crazy conspiracy theory.
Yeah, that can't be because he was too weak and feeble.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. That's such an interesting point, though. He must, like, maybe he made, like, a cameo and then we'll find out, like, watching episodes 2 and 3 where he was involved with all of that.
Yeah, he's somewhere.
Yeah. Maybe he's in North Korea.
He's somewhere.
Who knows?
He's somewhere. What did you guys think of the character that was on the shipping? What is it? Rig? The rig.
Like
on the sea.
Oh, yeah. The rig on the sea.
Yeah, the guy that fought.
The group of people in the bar.
Yeah.
That guy. That was. I love how, like, in every fight scene, it's not like everyone coming at the person at once.
Oh,
it's
the
always,
bar in, like, Alaska. Like,
Yeah.
the bar. Yeah.
Yeah. There was so much that happened that I feel like it's hard to keep track.
Did I make that up?
No, my brain went asleep momentarily just then.
But you've just been awoken, like the rest of them.
I know what she's talking about now.
That was crazy.
She's a sleeper agent.
Yeah, so sorry. I wish. I would be so cool.
And every fight scene, it's never like 5 people coming at the person. It's like 1, then he finishes him and destroys him. Then it's 2, then he finishes him and destroys him. Then it's 3. I love how everyone's just like standing around watching.
Right.
Like, I'm like, this is like not realistic. But it was so entertaining.
I thought it was realistic because I
did?
think, yeah, I did. I think it was realistic, and here's why. Because when you see people fighting, you tend to just stand and watch. You don't actually like get involved. And I think that what was interesting for that specific scene was that you could also see that he was surprised that he could fight, and they were surprised that he could fight, and he was like finding himself. And I don't think that, I don't know, I've never been in a brawl at a bar, but I don't think everyone just jumps in at once. I think that they fight, and then, oh, you're getting your butt kicked, then I'm going to come help you. And by that time, someone else is coming to help you. So it wasn't like just one-on-one. They were all trying to help each other, but he was just that good. He was just beating their butts so good. So I liked it.
And it all happened because of that girl at the bar who we all knew was super creepy to begin with. Like, I knew, like, just like her being there, I was like, there is something creepy going on. Your cat is not dying. Like, this is some weird setup. Like, I felt that energy.
Yeah. The only weird part in that actual scene was there was a weird delay in the guys giving her crap, and then she like turned around too slowly. In my opinion, that was the only weird thing where I was like, my head would whip around so fast and be like, yeah, good try. But it was weird. He like gave her crap, and then she was like, good try, J-hole. And I was like, that is like weird timing. It was so odd to me while I was watching it. I was like, what just happened? Did the director make that choice, or was that an actor move? Because I don't know why it took her so long. But then after that, the whole scene like totally speeds up, goes from 0 to 60, and it's freaking so cool. Yeah. It's like you get moments in here. There's like some breathing room. You get to know characters. There's some acting that happens. All the acting is good, thankfully. And then you get like action. It's all pieced up within. It's probably going to be that way for most episodes, I hope.
Oh, absolutely. It's the CIA. Yeah. The Black Ops. It's going to be, totally. I think it's just going to get better and better. I think the fight scenes are, I mean, if they came out this strong in the pilot, they can only get better, right?
I agree.
I mean, I can only imagine that would be the case. I do have a fun trivia This series was originally being developed at CBS by Anthony Zucker in 2010, but it was shut down at the insistence of Tony Gilroy, who is gearing up to direct The Bourne Legacy in 2012, and he did not want another Bourne project competing with this film.
Oh.
I think this is good on USA Network, though. Do we see shows like this on CBS? Like these crazy action-packed series on CBS?
I don't think I can recall one
Yeah.
off the top of my head, but I do think that it landed, where it should land. It looks like they are giving them a lot of leeway, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was good.
So it is directed by Ramin Balrani, and writers include Mark Bernardin, Tyler Hissell, and Dave Kalstein. Created by Tim Kring, who's also associated with the whole Bourne film franchise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he helped them write it. You're saying, did you say?
He created it.
Oh, got it. Yes.
He created
yes.
it.
Okay.
I think there are like 6 or 7 writers that are credited right now, but he was the show creator.
I love that. I feel like the creator was like, edit it the same way that Bourne is. Because a lot of the Bourne films as well, you can really see everything that's happening in the fight scenes, which is like what makes them my favorite movies. And I feel like someone was like, yeah, we're not gonna like fake it out to where he gets punched and then all of a sudden I just adore about this show specifically is that you can just see everything.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say that anymore. I could say it 10 more times. I just think it's super cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they are trying to keep it filmed like The Bourne because it's all part of that same franchise. So if you want action every week, you guys, you've got it. USA has got the action.
Yeah.
Right?
I feel like Jack Ryan would have done a little bit better with their pilot if they had taken a little bit of what Treadstone did. I like Jack Ryan, don't get me wrong. But I feel like there could be a little bit more of what this show has in Jack Ryan. I think it would have made it even better. But I know Jack Ryan's moving on to another season. Excited to see that. But Treadstone is starting out really strong with this pilot.
Yeah, I mean, agreed. That's all I can keep saying. Agreed. Let's do our rating between 1 and 5. 1 meaning it's not a great pilot. 5 meaning it's a perfect pilot.
I felt like it was pretty solid. I would give it like a 4.2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go with like 4.8. I'm down with it. There's heart, there's drama, and then there's action.
I'm going to give it a 4.5. And why I'm doing that is because anything that can keep my attention where I'm not multitasking, I know that I love. And this was one of those shows where I was just watching it and really being entertained and loving the backstories, which I think is important. And it was funny when you said Jack Ryan, that's exactly it. Had Jack Ryan, and I love that show too. Love it. But if we had a little bit more character development and backstory, I think it would like bring it up a notch. And that's what these people here at Treadstone are doing really, really well.
I agree.
What did you guys think of the disgraced reporter turn cab driver turn the woman that's gonna save it all? I feel
I know it sounds so ridiculous for me to say this, but I was such a huge fan of that storyline because it like opens up and I'm like, I really want to know more about her. Like, why would her whole journalism career be over because of one bad story? Like, is she just like blacklisted because it was like a top secret thing and no one wanted her exposing any sort of corruption or anything shady going on? And I just like really love the storyline because I love storylines centered around journalism or like people trying to break a story. I feel like that's so cool. And like she's so composed in the car and I'm just like thinking, well, what does she do now? Like, so she drives a cab. She probably meets a lot of interesting people, and on the spot, she's just okay, like going and meeting with this guy, not really knowing anything about it, and then her loyalty immediately is to him instead of to the CIA. So,
well, because it was her story.
Yeah,
right?
because it was her story. But there was one part where like she's walking away from the guy who like finds, like, who gets the wiretap thing back from her. And then she takes out the picture and is walking away. I'm like, you couldn't have waited, like, till you got home to take out the picture. Like, he's literally right behind you.
Right.
That's so dramatic. But I loved that storyline. As cheesy as it sounds, it was, like, one of my favorite parts of the show, because I want to know more about her.
Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I felt like she's a good character in a sense that they didn't make her like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Like, oh my God, get out of my car. It was like pretty easy for him to just be like, I'm with the CIA and like, you got to meet with this guy. And then it cut immediately to it, which I super appreciated. Like, just cut out the fat and let's get to it.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that meeting with her, and I'm not going to remember his name, but the meeting with her and him in the bathroom was I thought it was a great scene. I thought it was awesome, and I don't know, she finally got some payback for her story, her journal that had been taken down, that everyone was like, it's not true, we can't post it, that from like the head of the whatever was like, yeah, you were right all along, which I was like, cool.
Yeah. And do you think it's interesting, because that guy, and I can't think of his name, guys, and I will, but
Yeah, I'll find it.
That guy was also the guy that could fight too.
General Kwan.
That he could fight too. Were you
Yes.
surprised by that?
Oh, I was surprised.
I was not surprised, only because if we skip to the scene where he meets with, I'm going to try to find her name, in the bathroom, he says, they didn't,
So-young Park.
So-young.
Mm-hmm.
So when General Kwan and So-young, they meet in the bathroom, he's like, they turned you on and didn't tell you. Meaning I feel like I was like, oh, he has something to do with the beginning of turning it on, turning it off, making you into monster. So I feel like he would have had to have a hands-on type
I needed
deal.
to know more before he died, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, I needed to know more. Yeah, he died. Spoiler. I needed to know, like, why her, why him? Like, why did he go to the cab driver, and her name is Tara.
Yeah.
Why did he go to Tara, and then knowing that he was going to die, and then he also knows about all these sleeper agents? Like, I just like, ooh, I hope I get a flashback of him or something.
Yeah.
I needed to know more before he
killed over.
I just want to know how she found him, and like who planted like information that, like, just the whole scene. Like, there's so much that's left unexplained. Like, how did she get there? Like, we see her like put the timer for her daughter to play piano.
That's not her daughter.
Or not her daughter, her student to play piano. She's the temporary fill-in teacher. And she like leaves during the For Elise song, and she's just like coming over there, and I'm like, where is she going? And then we find out, and I'm like, how did she find this place? Like, through the how was this, all of this like planted that way? Like, who led her to go there? Like, who else is involved in this particular storyline, and where are they? Like, that's what I wanted to know.
Well, yeah. Well, I just had a feeling that she's teaching that student because they're keeping her all in like a certain area for like ever.
Yeah.
All these sleeper agents, they know exactly where you're at, and when
Yeah.
you're placed there, you're not going any more than 2 miles out of that zone.
Yeah, that's what I took from it. That's why she was temporary, but not really temporary, because then she got the job.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're placed everywhere. They're sleeper agents, so they don't know it, but they're placed specifically where they're going to be needed, so that when they're awakened, they're right there, which is why she was right there, right? So, you know, with the little Game Boy that he had, and her not knowing, but knowing about it, and like being curious about it, but not knowing why she was curious about it, like that was her story, and that's how she got to where she was going to kill this guy eventually. But I just thought it was like so good, and I think that her husband and those unis, for lack of a better term, are going to be a part of her story as well, because she plays meek, but she's, you know, a badass. So I think it's going to be a great storyline as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's do our if you like this, then you'll like this. I think that if you like Mr. Robot. I think that if you like
Jack
Ryan, the Bourne movies, The Purge, any of those type of shows where it's like CIA based. There's another show, FBI. It's not as action, but it's very similar if you like CIA, FBI stuff. What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I feel like any sort of like action-packed show or movie that deals with like investigations with a cross of like superhuman type things, like maybe a little, like with a little touch of like Marvel and DC in there, then you will definitely like this because it does have that fantasy element of like, oh, superhuman strength. So I feel like there's going to be a little bit more of that as the episodes progress.
Yeah, and if you haven't dove into John Wick, I really don't know what you're doing with your life. Definitely watch that.
Guys, it's unanimous. We love this show, and we love having you here at AfterBuzz TV joining us for pilot reviews. Where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram at Mina Makes Magic.
Yes, thanks, guys. Remember to like and subscribe. Make sure to leave comments. Rate us 5 stars. We love you here at AfterBuzz. We hope you join us time and time again. We'll be here reviewing more TV pilot reviews. My name is Tara Erickson, TaraErickson. You can find me everywhere, but especially on YouTube.
And guys, last but not least, Linda is so girly all across social media. Definitely come back same time, same place next week, where we'll have a brand new pilot to review. Until then, bye guys.
See ya.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.